So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the third day of this series of ethical hacking. So, I welcome Mr. Sampath Kumar sir to address and to continue. And I have added all the attendee to the panelist link so that they can unmute themselves and can ask their queries directly to sir. Okay, so Sampath sir, you can just go ahead and start. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Nivedita, and I want to thank you all the participants. Okay, let us start. Okay. Uh, Let me tell you what is in my mind today for the agenda. Okay. Um, Let me start with the networking fundamentals. Definitely, I will not going to tell you, what is IT network and information technology networking, etc. I'm not going to give you the definitions of IT network, but I'm going to focus only on ethical hacking related fundamental networking in information technology. Okay, so it should be very, very, very focused to the ethical hacking and unethical hacking. Okay, then I will give you some of the based on my experience with the various projects and various companies, what is ethical hacking, particularly do's and don'ts. That's more important. Whatever I come across, during my security audit and all. Okay, so
Sorry, sir, but the voice is low. Can we just have a more loud?
yeah. I'm talking loudly. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's audible. Good. Okay. Good. So.
So participants, one more information for you also. Wherever you felt like there is some issue related to anything, audio, video, or any understanding, you can just unmute yourselves and ask your questions directly. You are in the
Yeah.
panel link. Okay.
Yeah. Good. Okay. I mean, um, you all may be working as different roles in different organization. Either your role may be developer or database administrator or system administrator, or you are a project manager or program manager, director level, or you may be in the sales, or some of you may be application sales team. And yeah, you may perform many different roles in an organization, but you would like to know what is going on, in terms of cyber security, and what is ethical hacking, and what is unethical hacking and all. Because you need to gain knowledge so that you can know when you are going for any business discussions, or when you are developing any applications, or when you are going for any customer facing role or customer discussion. Definitely there will be a question: how do you make sure that my application or my business is safe when I given you application development and so on. So from the perspective of developer or a system administrator, database administrator, system administrator, from project manager perspective, and some of you may work as specifically for senior level, and they want to go and represent. This is the way our environment is protected, etc. and so on. Okay, so for that reason, definitely you already will have the existing environment of the networking. Your company will have the domain and infrastructure in terms of servers, and then licensed operating system in terms of Linux servers, or some of them are Unix servers, and different OS, and some companies may have the virtual machines to open the port to test the application, particularly for example, when you have the client in London, or a European client, and when the client wants to test the application in your environment may be secured in India, so that you will apply for your company to open a port for a specific IP, and the specific IP shared to the European customer to test the application in terms of yeah, sorry. Yeah, test application in terms of security, in terms of data manipulation, and in terms of data flowing between the servers and the client. So definitely when you are going to apply for from the perspective of either developer or a technical lead, project manager, or someone. So when you go and approach your system administrator, the first question from the system administrator will be, tell me, how can I open a port without permission? Then there will go for several levels of approval, and you get the approval from the top management. Okay, good. Now we will come to the point of in one of the server you are having the licensed version, and you are having the pre-installed without license. You have the another server. When the licensed server connected with the unlicensed server, there is a risk always of in terms of firewall. That's the reason I given in my my notes in a higher level. Whenever you have the environment setup, make sure that you have licensed operating system. Either it may be Linux and Solaris, or it may be Windows or anything. Please you have licensed version. And when you have the licensed version, and your username, password will be credentials will be stored with the license with the service provider. And what will happen? You have a right to set your firewall, and the firewall will prevent many of the hackers. There are applications, there are tools, and there are programs available to hack the servers also by bypassing the firewall. There are, I'm not saying that no, even though you set the firewall, nobody can hack, but you minimize the risk. There is always risk in terms of hacking. Now we need to know whether it is ethical or unethical. Unethical hacking only, they try to access your server in a different mode. Okay, and ethical hacking, they will do the hacking only for the purpose of gaining the data and use it for the prevention of crime and fraud. So this is a thin line difference between ethical hacking and the unethical hacking. Okay, now I will come to the point of hacking of from the external intruders. First, your firewall should be configured in such a manner no intruder should get into your local laptop or server or your desktop. Let me just go and explain you how you can set up your firewall for your first laptop, then only for your desktop, and then we'll come to the question of server and so on. Okay, let me just go and share my screen by sharing you how to set the firewall. That's it. Suppose so I can set up my firewall for my laptop, but my system administrator will set the firewall for the server. Okay, this is the difference between my laptop and the server. That's all, nothing. Rest of them is common. Okay, let me come to my local machine, and then I will share my screen. Okay, just 1 second. Let me share my screen. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah. Okay. Now you are seeing some kind of services is running like that. So what I will do is let me go and first type my settings. Okay. When you go to the settings, there will be a you can. Second, let me show you. Nivedita, hope you are viewing my screen of settings, correct? Firewall settings and all.
Yes,
right?
sir, visible.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Okay, now I will come to my Windows security. Okay, this is I'm doing it for my laptop. The system, if I am the system administrator for server, I know how to set up my firewall settings for my server. Okay, now I'll go to my let me securities. I will go to my option. Okay, and I open. See, now domain network. Okay, so now I don't have any active domain because I'm using the independent laptop. if you have connected to your domain by having your credentials, username and password, definitely there will be a domain name will be there here. Okay, same way Microsoft Defender firewall, all you had to switch it on. Okay, next is very, very important, that incoming connections. This is very, very important for a system administrator to know, stop incoming connections. Okay, if I say block all incoming connections, including those the list of allowed apps, okay, then all the incoming connections will get stopped. Nobody can access my laptop without knowing my credentials. My credentials is more important. But if the intruders knows my credentials, they can come and change here in my firewall settings. Next, I'll go to this one. Okay, so this one part, I'll go to next part. 1 second. Then what is a private network? Suppose if I am using any other private network, that is also I can configure. You may ask me what is the domain and what is a private network. Some of you will work from home. You all aware, correct? Because of this corona situation, many of you are allowed to work from home. What will happen? The private network will be enabled and they will give you access to the private network to access the company server. Okay, here they will set up everything for the VPN. Okay, next I'll come to the point. It's a quick, but I don't want to waste your time because we all may, some of you may already aware of this one, but still for someone's knowledge sake, I'm sharing this information where to give the firewall settings and how do you connect to the public network and all. Here as a system administrator, I set in such a manner IP of 192.168.255.12 192.168.255 to 100. These are the assigned to private VPN, and these private VPN will be assigned to the my company users, so that only those people can access to that VPN and start working. And sometime I will give you in the public network for the sake
Sir, I
of
think,
downloads.
sorry for the interference. I think the slides are not visible. You have opened the slide section?
No. I'm showing my desktop, madam. I showing them.
No, it is not visible. I think some scratches, glitches are there.
Sorry, 1 second. I shared my 1 second. I shared my desktop. Sorry, are you able to see here now, madam?
Yes, right now.
Sorry. I don't know. Extremely sorry. I tried to share my disk desktop, so it will be easy for them to see. Okay. I'm giving this information only for the sake of people to understand, and then on the high level. But definitely this is job of the network administrator will prevent. So there is no issue, for as a developer, whether I will go and set up my environment. No need to do that. Okay, so my network administrator will do everything for me. Okay, so no worries, because I'm talking in terms of how the network security has been taken care in terms of hacking. That's the reason I'm sharing this information. Okay, next is okay, firewall protection. Sorry, these are the three domain network: private and public network. If you set up in firewall, the intruders cannot access into your system and the server for your organization. Then there is a app and browser control. Here also we can give the here the reputation based and all. There are their check apps and files. These are the settings generally as a system administrator I used to create for my servers. Now I am doing it only for my laptop. Don't get worried much. This can be easily done by the system administrator in easy manner. Okay. This is one part in terms of setting up firewall by the system administrator. So if if any organization's system, that is a server with a licensed operating system and which has all the licensed applications and tools like database, either Oracle or MS SQL, MySQL, any database, if you have the licensed version and the registered, so you can very well have the full version of server, and you can configure in such a manner where intruders cannot get into your system by way of setting up firewall and so on. Okay. Next I given you the how to say give the IP addresses, and even the routers plays a vital role for preventing intruders. Some of the routers are opened in the sense the IP address will not get masked. So if your IP address got masked, then when your file is flowing into the browser and there is a string consist of IP address will get masked where they cannot see your IP address. But some routers are open for IP address. What will happen? They go and expose our IP address into the public. So when you are purchasing your routers, you have to be more cautious. Okay. Then you know what is a switches is distributing the your network into the within your organization, and some ports may be open for outsiders also. Okay. So apart from this, I used one name called network monitoring system. If you go with a Cisco router, there is a network monitoring system application inbuilt will come. So with that, easily you can analyze the traffic analysis particularly, and any traffic is taking so long time, then you can go and open the log and check why this particular port and some of the IPs are getting more time to load or more time to fetch data, and you can easily find out something wrong in this port and IP addresses, and you can block, and then you can refresh it so that the speed of the system and the transmission of data will improve. So network monitoring system is useful for defective IP, and any infected of IP also easily you can find it out using the network monitoring system when you purchase a Cisco router and all. So same way. Okay. And next my next point is always be a purchase licensed tools, licensed applications, even the third-party tools also. You have to have licensed version. We should not go and download any third-party tool or application from the network, from the net, so that what will happen sometime this come along with some of the molecules their script. That script will run and take your data or corrupt your files, or transmitting some of the very valuable information into their server and so on. So you have to be more cautious in terms of doing the third-party tools and applications. Okay. Okay. Next, I will come to the point of antivirus. Okay. You all ask me, definitely there will be a doubt. Yeah, developer or somebody will send me. Somebody tell me, I am already having licensed version of the operating system. Good. And I am the domain also, what you call prevented by way of my firewall settings. Good. Next, third. Still, how can you tell me a virus can get into my system? Explain. Okay. Okay, what is the purpose of this operating system and the application? I don't want to go to any desktop like MS Office or using Excel, Word and all, PowerPoint and all. And also any application developed either by your organization or third party, which is used for your transactions or business applications, so on and so on. So that is not an issue here. Here the virus antivirus system, it has got the libraries. The libraries will have what are all the yesteryears viruses created by the many individuals. Okay, you all know what is virus, correct? Virus is a simple program created by some bad elements, I can use. So to spoil the reputation of the organization, reputation of the application, servers and all, they create some of the teams, some of the program, and they will inject into the the servers or any laptop, and they corrupt the files, OS, even the sometime it will go and corrupt the boot system also, where our boot system will get corrupted. Some portion of in your hard disk space cannot be used furthermore. That much of damage the virus will do. Virus is a program. Okay. So the virus program will be attached along with the download and come and sit in your laptop or your desktop, and then it will spoil your reading system or the applications both. Okay. So that's the reason always have the antivirus software which run and scan and check what are all the browsing area you are going there. If there are any identified words from the libraries match and say that no, this site is not safe to go, please come out. Either if you go there, then it will damage your laptop and also the antivirus software will make sure that known viruses are not get into your system. That is the purpose of the antivirus software. That's a basic purpose. And also it prevent any third-party tool is running and then sending you some of the system with virus. It will prevent and say that quarantine that particular routine and keep it separately. It will not allow that application to run at any given point of time. So always try to have the antivirus software. Yeah, and again I'm giving you firewall settings to provide. Okay, then there is a question will be then what is a SQL injection? Correct. Some of them are very good in terms of query language. Either they Python or they are using any other PLSQL queries. They will inject the query. That query will go and sit in your any of the root directory, and based on the time schedule time set by in the query, it will start run. Then it will go and search for any open database from the table, from the master and transaction table. It will take the data and then populate into another area, and that will be fetched by the intruder. So that's a way SQL injection also. People will try to hack your system and take the data from your system. Okay, that's a reason to prevent the SQL injection. Okay, third point is very simple, and any organization should have the, okay, generally bigger organization will have resources for where they are called as unbilled resources or non-billable resources. They work for the processor, and they work for some of the setting the process in terms of ITSM or project management or like this kind of security processes. So should generally hackers are very easy to hack the small enterprises, a small company where they are having the 4 or 5 member team, not having enough licensed version or third party to applications are running, so they can easily access and then take the data out or corrupt their system. But in a bigger organization, they will have the there will be a security officer will be there. He will get security manager, a security consultant, etc. He will create the security policy in terms of how the credentials should be there, how username should be there, how password should be there, what is the time frame to change, what is the character should be contained in terms of small case of letter, uppercase of letter, and so on. So the security policy will be driven based on the past incidents and the experience and given to the organization to implement, which is include all the firewall settings and the third party tool download and attachments. Any attachment come in a GIF file or some file, they try to avoid not to open. And even though there's a network administrator license in the mail, before that it will reach the person, and the person will open, get infected, etc. So that will be, his laptop will be removed from the network and so on. So your security policy is more important for any organization when they want to run the bigger business. Okay, it's more important than audit. The security policies are implemented, and there should be audit for once in 3 months minimum. This is internal audit. Internal audit will be done once in 3 months, and there is a external audit will be done once in a year, because internal audit, even sometimes they know the people. For example, I carry my pen drive and then I will leave it in my table and go. So security manager will say that when doing audit, when I keep my pen drive, because he's my close friend, he will say that, okay, next time don't keep it. That's all. You never give any, no, what are the status of security audit complaints and everything. And they will tell you if the security breach is very severe, they will say that it's a critical, and sometimes no, it's a manageable, etc. So, for example, I'm writing a username and password, writing in a small paper and paste it in my desktop for the use of accessing my production server or my test server. So that is not that should not be. You should not keep username and password in any place. That is always risk for your organization. Okay, so they will audit and they will immediately give you what are the corrective measures you have to take and so on. So this should be done in internal audit once in 3 months and the external audit once in year. The any organization, if they do frame the security policy and implement into the organization and conduct the security audit once in 3 months, internal audit by internal security officer, and once in a year external audit, then the organization will not face this much of a hacking problem. Okay, this is in terms of hacking from how to prevent the hacking. Okay. Next, I want to come to the next level of ethical hacking. So our topic is ethical hacking. That's the reason we more discuss about what is ethical, what is unethical, what is the do's and don'ts, etc. Like what is an impact will be there. Okay, let me come to the ethical hacking, how we can do. Okay, there are because I cannot create and show you ethical hacking because that is not allowable. I cannot hack any server and show you the example. That is unethical. So there are many references are there. You can very well go on to check in net and then you can get it also. Nothing great in that. Okay, I will come to you. There is some Unix family systems are there. You can create the virtual machine and then install OS and scan the open board. There are some command line comments are there. From the you can give the comments in the command line and then you can easily go and take the what are all the IPs are at present running, and within the IPs what is the IP, what are the IPs are open for what reason, and easily you can get into that network and then gather the data and analyze and then use it for the good purpose, for the sake of to safeguard your company interest and government interest. You can hack the particular server and then particular network and gain the data, gain the access and get the data. Okay. Anyway, you all know what is wireless network, correct? Through the wireless network, the router will be there. Even there is there are guidelines how to crack that WPS. What is a wireless WPA wireless protocol authentication, and what is WPS in the settings. Generally, people use the WPA authentication. That is always recommended because that will consider of username and password of the router, that application. So that unless otherwise a person knows the username and password, he cannot gain the access to the particular server through that wireless router. But at the same time, there are ways to break that also. How to get the username and password? There's a show list and all there. If you go to the Google, you will get all these details. Very easy for you to be a hacker. But again, my request is anyone, including me, we can be hacker, but that a hacker should hack the data of the person only for the purpose of good, not for the purpose of bad. Okay. There are even many hacking tools also available. Even to be honest, I also done one of the hacking in a server and all, but I'm telling you, hacking tools is also has issues where when we found in the log, what has happened, the hacking tool itself gathering some of our organizations or governments important data, and they are sending, and those important data are sending back to their servers. where the company is so selling that tool. When I found that, when I was shocked, because in the log it is very well said, this is a SQL query has been run, these are the data has been done, these are IP address. I was shocked. Those are no masked and those are no secure. But how still the data no where who is gaining access, etc. When I found then it is a hacking tool, ethical hacking tool itself hacking my server and collecting very vulnerable data, and it is sending back to his server. Then we stopped, and then there is a breach of trust and happened. And that is a bigger story. I don't want to get into that, but even the hacking tool is also not safe. So if an organization, bigger organization, or any government agency wants to have a hacking methodology or a hacking process, better they can develop their own environment. They can create their own virtual machine. They can install their own OS and access their own network and collect the data, use it for analysis. But don't, I mean, there are two ways. No, I am not recommending for any hacking tools because of some breach of trust. At the same time, organization is not having enough resource or enough strength to create a hacking tool, then you can go for the third-party hacking tool. But still, please be cautious and you yourself download the log and check, go through any of your company data is sending back to the server of the tool, hacking tool. So be cautious. I have one bitter experience, so you be cautious. Okay. So with this is a what is a ethical hacking fundamentals. I want to stop here, and next let me go to the next slide of these do's and don'ts. Already you all aware. I don't want to know spend much time on you, but still these are some of the do's and don'ts. Even today, when I working in organization, I keep myself go through. Yeah, for example, simple example. No, somebody is saying that, hey, give me your username and password. I use it for accessing the dev server. I'll say no, because I will not give my username and password to the another person to access my development server. If the person replaces some of the file and the application is not performing well, then the question will come from the tracker. We can easily find out who has accessed the particular file, who has replaced and all. So even though it is a look very simple, but it's very highly critical for a organization. So from the perspectives of do's, okay, the system administrator should monitor the IP addresses and the users of that domain and the network. It is a duty of system administrator to make sure that only authorized people are accessing their network, number one. Number two, only authorized users are accessing the applications and using the organization facility. At any point of time, if the network administrator or system administrator found anyone accessing their network where they are not unauthorized way, they have to block immediately, take action against that person. Okay, this is the reason I'm asking the system administrator to monitor the access and uses closely every day. It's a everyday job, every minute job. Okay, number one. Number two, second, collect data and then always use this data for the organization benefit, not for some other benefit. I don't want to use any other words here. Okay, again, you got to set in a server in such a manner all the emails should get scanned in terms of attachment and the contents of the email, both inflow and then outflow of the emails. That's a setup you need to have it in your server, whether it is for unethical unethical hacking or it is ethical, like both. Then scan open ports, accessing the network. That's what I say there. No, you have to be even though you keep open a port for some reason. Okay, always monitor that port. What kind of URLs or what kind of alerts access is coming out of that port, and what kind of information is flowing between the through and inflow and outbound of that port. That will give you always know, you can, from the log, you can easily check, okay, this string is not belongs to me. This belongs to some other area, but it has entered into my network, and I will take the precautionary method of blocking that URLs. That is possible. Okay. So scan your open ports, and next is again licensed hacking tools, application. Again, in this, even though I recommend for hacking tools for some organization where they cannot invest money, time for the developer to develop their own hacking tool, but still hacking tool log should also be reviewed every day and check if there are any possibility of data is collected and sent back to their server. So be cautious. These are the do's. On the don't side, again, if you are okay, assume that you have an employee where is working against the organization some reason. Maybe 95% is good and 5% no, is leaking the information under. So even though you collect data about a particular credential or particular person, use it for, without knowing the person, you need to take it. You should not expose yourself that is data got collected for analysis and take against him. Sometimes this will affect the morale of other employees. Other employees will also feel bad that my data also collected by my organization, use it for analysis, and sometimes they may also take action against it. So without knowing the employee, you do this kind of hacking. Next is use accurate data for non-productive results. I know what is the meaning of, you all know what is the meaning of non-productive results. Okay. An employee is doing a good job and is looking for very good recognition from the organization. Some reason you are not able to give, but you should not use the data hacked about the employee against him for not giving a recognition to him. So that is not productive. That is not going to help you anyway. Better you use hacked data for purpose, not for the bad purpose. Okay. And at the last, I want to say that don't use hacking application tool and perform. Say again, I'm asking you this one. Even if I hack my organization server, generally this will deteriorate my application OS and network. Okay. If I use third party, it is more dangerous to me. For example, I'm having a cloud server and I have host my application there. Even though it is a Google data or any AWS server, when I from my development server, I am sending a hacking script to the AWS server, and I am collecting the data. Who are the people are hacking? Who are accessing my server? That will deteriorate my speed of the network and the performance of the server. So I have to be more cautious when I create hacking program, and I create the environment. Make sure that it should not deteriorate my performance of the server and corrupt my application and application files and operating system. Okay, these are the do's and in the high level, but there are many do's and don'ts are there, but that will be covered under the security policies they will give you. Okay. In conclusion, this is what I am trying to say. Ethical hacking is good for prevention, crime and fraud. It reduces risk of unethical hacking. I agree. It reduces organization data steal by competitors, by intruders. My competitor need my data only for the reason of how I am performing, what is my next 5-year plan or 20-year plan, or any data which are going to impact them in the market. And the next is ethical hacking improve organization infrastructure performance. Okay, you may ask me, tell me Sampath, how this will, this is a last point I have doubt. You are telling me the hacking program will deteriorate my server performance. At the same time, it may corrupt my files and data. If you use a virtual machine and it is not going to impact suck your server performance and not related to any of your server files, then you are safe. At the same time, by way of preventing unauthorized access and replacement of files, the infrastructure again, that's what I told you, a simple virus will go and impact your boot record, spoil the boot record. Then you need to spend more time for your hard disk replacement. Sometimes 500 GB or 1 TB hard disk of the laptop will go, it will damage. You cannot retrieve back. Maximum you can take the data alone. So that cost around somewhat or 5,000 or 6,000 bucks. But the company, spend money on the infrastructure. So ethical hacking improve organization infrastructure, but at the same time you have to be more cautious what kind of environment you are going to use to create the ethical hacking program. These are my so now I am waiting for your questions. Anything you want to question me, you can question me. I try to answer your questions here. Any scenario based, definitely I'll come back to you with the result. Thank you. Nivedita.
Yes, sir. So participants, if you have any kind of doubt, query regarding anything, you can just unmute yourself and ask your queries right after.
Sir, this is Annapurna.
Yeah, please.
Like in your, in your experience, have you found any kind of such instances where, particularly, any evidence that has been produced through the ethical hacking is subjected to the question of competency? Like in your presentation, you are saying even by using specific tools of ethical hacking also, we can see the breach of
Sorry,
data.
if you could you please come again? It's a ethical hacking.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So my question is in your, in your experience, have you seen any kind of such instances where the evidence that has been procured or presented before the court is subjected to challenge to that extent of question of competency? Because like in your presentation you have told that certain tools that is already like ethical hacking tools which deprive some kind of basic fundamental things like breach of trust is it. So have you seen such scenarios? Like in case if you've seen such scenarios, can you just for the sake of examples, can you give some of the list of those tools like where you found these kind of challenges?
Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking about around 2016. Okay. I was working in an organization, and
Okay.
my customer using the worldwide customer, their presence are almost all the countries. Some of the around out of some around 60 countries, their presence were there, and their data centers are located in various region and various countries also. Okay.
Okay, sir.
In one of the region, particularly European region, there is a okay. Let me explain you. The data processed from mainframe, DB2, it will go to the mainframe, then it will send you as a SQL query data. That query data fetched by the SQL queries, it will move into the Oracle database, then it will be transferred to the Asia Pacific. It will start from US. End of the day, it start from US, it will come to Asia Pacific. From there, it will go to the Europe, then go to the Latin America, then it will go to the US again. So this is the data flow from US to again going back to US. Okay. Now, from Europe, we found our application performance is deteriorating. When we are trying to find in terms of firewall and the networking security, and we have tried several methods. Then in Europe, the customer bought a hacking tool. Okay, that hacking tool, what it does, apart from log created by the server, it will fetch some of the configuration given by the system administrator in terms of what kind of query, in particular financial value. Okay, the intruder most interest about the cost of the spare parts. Okay, for example, if the spare parts in Europe is 120 euros, okay, the competitor wants to gain the access into the network and get the data, and he wants to sell that part into 80 euros. Okay, that's a purpose. The hacking tool has a captured minute way with the configuration of value. Okay, value of the spare parts, and they reported that particular laptop, it is not server even, particular laptop, a query has been sent, injected into our server, and taking only belongs to the spare parts and the value of the spare parts. That's all. Part number and the name, part number, manufacturing some location. There are 12 columns, I think. 12 columns, and then it has taken. Okay.
Okay.
Now we found there is a intruder injecting SQL query and fetching data that is causing degradation of application performance. Okay. Then it has gone to the European court. In Europe, when the customer presented the data to the court, from the log, there is a third party analyzed and reported that our customer data also fetched by the tool, and it has been sent to US for their parent company. So this was a case in the Europe, London court.
Sir, may I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Sir, this is Kaushik Haldar. Sir, I just want to request you, can you show us some hands-on example on ethical hacking, bit of consisting a bit of small technicalities so that all of us can understand, along with the theory, that what actually ethical hacking looks as. We are most of the participants, those who are taking this course, most of us are in some way of our life experienced in news and personally with the unethical hacking to some extent, but we have never seen any ethical hacking example hands-on. Can you show us some examples so that along with the theory, we have a clear idea about what is ethical hacking?
To be honest, I am not supposed to exhibit or show you the practical way of hacking a server. That considered to be the unethical, correct? I can give you example. This is my organization. Okay, I am working here as an employee. Okay, if I write a hacking program and hack my server, that will get notified to system administrator from the log. If they found that I am hacking the some of the valuable information from the server, you know very well, correct? I get penalized. You are getting my point.
So, no, sir, I am not asking about any unethical hacking. I
No,
am just
ethical.
I am just asking about ethical hacking. Those can be done through desktop only. So the users or the participants who are in the who are taking the course, they can at least understand that what is basically ethical hacking. Because theory is good, the slides are also okay with it. We may got some kind of material from internet also, but
Yeah, you can.
experience with the practicalities is important as a part of the cognitive understanding. That is what I am asking for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, how can I show you an example? Where, I'm thinking, because I need to create a server with a domain, with the users, correct? Then I need to run the program and go and fetch the data of the date of birth of a particular user. Or I need to show you how to fetch the credentials of a person and change some files, etc. What I can do is, I need to create a video for you, and in that case, okay, let me do one thing. I do my offline work. Okay, I will record my screen, and then I will send it to Nivedita to share it with you. Is this fine for you?
Yes, sir.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Hello, sorry. Hello.
Thank you.
I will do it, definitely do it for you. I will send it to Nivedita. I
No,
will do
not
that.
for me, but for all. Please, please share it with
Yeah.
me.
Yes. I will do that. I will create video for you. How the what is the environment of server? What is the environment of a laptop? How the hacking program written? How I running it? How it will go and fetch the data? In particular about the credentials, in particular about the replacing of files, in particular about injecting a virus program, and in particular about stealing data, some financial data, salary data of a person. I will set a video and send it to you. Don't get worried. I will do that. I will do. Hello? It's audible?
Yes, sir, it is audible. So I
Yeah,
think,
I will create this Saturday, Sunday, I will, create the server.
okay, sir.
Through laptop, I'll access, and then I will create a program, and then I'll record and give it to you. Nivedita. I will do that.
Okay, sir, no issue.
I'm
So,
noting down the points. Okay.
okay. So along with the ebook and recordings of the session, I will share whatever Shari will share with me. So any other queries, participants? I think all of we have done with the query question answer session. So can we wrap up here then? Okay, so one more information for all of the participants that the e-certificate of the session will be shared with you with the respective mail IDs that has been registered here at the NPC portal and with us. So we will get it on the weekdays of next week. And along with whatever doubt you will address here, I will forward it to Sampath sir. You can just mail us at nivedita.bindia@gmail.com, and I will forward it to Sampath sir and he will directly address your queries. So we will wrap up the session right now. Thank you so much, sir, for your session. In spite of having an audio clarity issue in the first day, you have tried hard for the second and third day, and it is really appreciated. And thank you so much for being here at the NPC web platform. Thank you, participants, for attending the session patiently. I think 10, 12 more participants are there to attend. They couldn't attend the session. We will share all the details in the respective mail IDs. So thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nivedita. Thank you.
Thank you.